Let's sync audio. What's happening, Papper people? I haven't checked my comment section in a really long time. I've been pretty busy. So we're gonna go through the comment section now. I saw a ton of great questions. This is like a grab bag of stuff. You never know what we're gonna find in here. All right, let's start off with the first one. I've been struggling with a dry mouth. This is Zarmo P. Fudpucker. VA kept sending me different straps. None of the straps work for me. I use a full face mask. I wake up with dry mouth and my mouth is wide open. Jaw drop. We know what this is. It's jaw drop. Air's purging out, airways collapsing, dry mouth. I used your suggestion of a neck collar and I have to say it worked great. I can't tape because I have a full face beard. The neck collar is a cat's meow. Stewie heard that and Stewie thanks you. Thanks for watching, Zarmo. All right, Samuel Kraft. This is talking about Inspire. This is hypoglossal nerve stimulation. Stimulates your tongue to hopefully keep your airway open. I had some critical videos of the Inspire. In fact, I have a call to action. If anyone has a positive experience with the Inspire, I'd love to hear from you. I'm trying to do like a balanced video on it, but honestly, no one's answered except one person, and they were kind of an ass about it. They're like, I'm not gonna share my information with you. I don't trust you. All right. I have an appointment with a doctor that does this in about 2 weeks. My personal primary said I was a perfect candidate for this. I have zero knowledge about it. It's gonna be interesting to see what the doctor has to say. Really appreciate the input you have. Super happy I watched this. Gives me knowledge to talk about. So I started getting a slew of horror stories about the Inspire and the surgery. And like I said, some of them is pretty gruesome. So I was looking for balance in this. So if you have a positive experience with Inspire, seriously, would love to hear it. Do a balanced video where I actually offer no opinions. I just let the opposing sides talk. And speaking of, we have Sophie talking about Inspire. My husband got the device about a year ago and he's having the same issues other people have. He does not feel rested, gets awakened by the shock on his tongue several times. I can hear the sound of the shocks. Jesus Christ, that's terrifying. Also, he still snores so bad. He wants it to be removed. We will try to have it done. CPAP works great for him, or should I say us. Why'd you try Inspire if CPAP works great? Or maybe that's after, I don't know. Neil Gregory, another good video.
Neil, these videos are great.
I enjoy your charm and ability to make this topic fun. I've not heard of Bleep products before. I think this mask looks great. Hey, thank you for recognizing that. I do try to make this topic fun. CPAP is boring. I try to liven it up. Some people don't appreciate it. I'm not trying to please everyone, thankfully. All right, Janice Jameson. Where's God's damn? I don't find this respectful when it comes to the reference of God. Look, to be honest, I think that if you are a religious person, I don't think deities are that sensitive. They can see through to your soul. They know what you're all about. They know if you're good or bad. And I just don't think this is an important thing, but I appreciate you wagging your finger at me. Griff's Laws. This might make for a good question answer / video, but what does it take to become a polysomnographic technologist? I actually get this question a lot. What was your experience like during your time learning to be one? I am in my 40s and thinking about changing my career as a line cook to become a sleep specialist type person. You know what? You'd probably be an awesome one because you have experience with CPAP and CPAP use. But now there are things called A-step programs. I think they're like the equivalent of AA degrees, I think. I'm actually a really bad person to ask. I started this around the year 2000. And at the time, you just had to have a bachelor's degree in science. Mine was in exercise physiology. So you just go in and you're trained on the job. Luckily, I had someone that had been asleep for a long time. Her name is Brenda Hawking. She was unbelievably phenomenal. She actually trained, there's a guy, William Spriggs. He writes a lot of books on polysomnography, mostly for registered techs. Great books, but she trained him also. She trained him, she trained the lanky lefty 27. That guy is really good. But times have changed and there's several different pathways to do it and I actually don't know, but you can look up A-step, A-S-T-E-P or something. You know, the field is definitely changing. It's going to more a home model, but probably more openings during the day, especially if you're good with people, that helps. The Oscar does not work with ResVent machines. That's true, they don't. Benjamin Cole, I wish I found this video earlier. It has to do with full face masks and how to fix leaks with a full face mask. So if you are new to CPAP, I actually have a series that I did when COVID came out. I'm wearing a white shirt that's collared with a black background. It's in my playlist. It's an 8-part series, all of them total 1 hour long. It is fantastic, in my opinion. I go through everything. I go through everything quickly. There's no yuck jokes. And you just get the information that you need fast. And if you watch it before you go in to visit your doctor, before you go to the DME and before you start treatment, you're gonna be light years ahead of most other people. Yeah, it's that good. Debbie Scott. So this is a video I did with Somnifix, and I was positive about Somnifix at the time. I used it for like a week. Somnifix sucks really bad, and it's really expensive. So Somnifix is about 0.75 of an inch, and it has a hole right here. So when you wear it, what happens is the weight of your mouth just pulls it off. There's just really not enough tension to hold it on. Then the little hole, get a little, like a little whistle out of it. So the days I used it, I didn't have a problem. But like immediately after I released the video, problem city, and it sucked. So I went on a mission. I tried tons of different tapes. Some of them were good, but they had like a lot of cons that went with them. Cover roll stretch tape is the stuff. It is 2 inches in height. Mwah. So a lot of people who say that they're allergic to tapes and adhesives find that they are not so with this. I would say just get a little piece. It's 10 bucks for 2 rolls, or like 8 bucks for 1 roll. And you can just put a little bit on your skin and test it out, see if you break out or not. DMZiabo. Jocelyn, what the f is up with that wig? I think you're referring to this. This is called a glorious boof, if you need to know. My wife's been trying to get me to get a haircut. And honestly, I just don't find it in the cards. Yeah, it looks like hell, but you saved my life with this tape. I cut a small hole in the middle. Works super. God bless you. God bless you. So a lot of times people with dry mouth, they think that the solution is more humidity. More humidity doesn't really do anything. It just puts a Band-Aid on the problem. It doesn't really fix it, just prevents you from getting as dry as you probably would. Humidifier tank's empty in the mornings because everything's venting into the environment. Tape it up, everything stays in your closed circuit, and you sleep a hell of a lot better. Sorry, I said hell. This is a religious CPAP channel. I would say don't cut the small hole because you get that little blowout effect. The bearded vegan, oh my God. It's one of those people that advertises everything about themselves in their handle. Unlike the lanky lefty. Annoyingly long without any value for people with real problems. This has to do with positional therapy. If you don't like the video, just leave. Come on, man.
Come on, give me a break, man. You are a rude, terrible person.
So, BNN Howard, I have sleep apnea and COPD, which is chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. Would this still be safe to use with my CPAP because my mouth is so dry sometimes and I never feel rested? So this has to do with mouth taping. Would it be safe to use mouth tape because my mouth is so dry and I never feel rested? Yeah. Adding mouth tape when your mouth is dry and you never feel rested will probably solve all your problems, because then the only other variable you're really dealing with is if the pressure is appropriate for you. Sometimes the mode of therapy can be off, but the pressure. So you've resolved one of the most major issues with this, which is mouth leak. Oscar Sosa, my measurements are 15/9, which is bi-level. This is from a sleep study back in 2015. Should I set at these numbers until I can get a new sleep study or try Viato? I'm a big fan of trying things out and seeing. You want to get a program called Oscar. I think I saw a question there about Oscar, so we'll check that out in just a bit. But using Oscar, you can certainly use the data, analyze it, and make the adjustments yourself. Other than that, Viato ain't gonna help necessarily. I did a video just the other day on the algorithms. Algorithm for Viato isn't any better. It's definitely not good at all. Then you have to worry about the other variable of the pressure support. As the pressure goes up, sometimes your pressure support needs change. So having that pressure support locked in with a Viato is not good more often than not. Has anyone told you that you look like Scott Stapp from Creed? Let's see, Scott. I don't look like him at all, but you know what I have heard? I look nothing like him. So what if EPR is already accounted for by a sleep technician? So I'm very, very critical with expiratory pressure relief. The reason for that is it decreases the EPAP, which is the effective part of the pressure. So they're saying, well, what if it's already accounted for by the sleep tech? You should be completely fine with that. The one caveat to that is post-arousal central apneas. When people wake up, you hyperventilate. This blows off CO2, which decreases respiratory drive. So you'll have that post-arousal central dip. And then after that, you overcorrect in that you get that central hypopnea wave coming up, and then it comes down, and then it usually stabilizes. Well, if you have EPR on, in some people you get that post-arousal central apnea, You get that big one lump, post-arousal central hypopnea, but then it continues and it persists for a very long time. That's the problem with EPR. If it was already accounted for by the night tech, you should be okay. Poor explanation due to the childish scribbles and you seem unsure of your own findings. Honestly, that video is so old, I can't even remember. Oh, weird. I didn't even remember I did that. I already did an auto set for her video. I just did one the other day. Weird. Huh. Looks like I'm regurgitating information. Driver Steve, I'm flabbergasted by how much these little cheap little boxes are. I could buy 3 Samsung smartphones for the price of this unit, which is the AirCurve V Auto. I just can't see how $3,000 worth of hardware can be inside these units. Yes, I know it's considered a medical device, but for what you get, it's way overpriced, and these companies profit off your need to have one. I mean, you can always make your own. I don't know, the price is what the price is, and if you need one, what I say is $3,000 is way too much. You can actually find these on Craigslist. Now, people think, Craigslist? What? I'm not gonna get a used device. Used devices are often like never used. They often have very low hours or no hours. People tend to get these, it sounds very macabre, at the end of life. And the families are like, you know, my mom or dad are on hospice. I don't want to put them on this and subject them to that. So it just stays there in the box until they pass away. And then try to sell it. They know it's a medical device. They know they can probably get money for it. So estate sales, Craigslist, great places to look for some reason, especially V autos. They're all over the place. And the nice thing is, even if someone is like kind of technically overcharging for it, they're still much, much lower than retail. And this guy's saying 3,000. They're actually like more like 1,600. But you can get them used for like $700. I've seen them for as little as 300. Totally new. Leslie Roush. Jeff.
My name is Jeff.
I follow your channel. Not very closely. Very informative. Question, not CPAP related. Lol. Where did you get the shirt you're wearing in this video? Now, I believe I was wearing a Moab shirt, and you're going to find this shocking. I bought it in Moab. Funny story about Moab. I need to do that on my cat channel, Lanky's cat channel. If you haven't subscribed, check it out. I have it in the description box. Finger rut. Sorry, I did not mean to insult your mustache. It just kept falling off.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't mean anything. It clearly didn't want to be there that day. Now, my mustache was falling off in this video. And it was not fake. I remember she insinuated there was a fake mustache. It was contractually obligated to remain on my face, my upper lip. Love your videos. Question, I watched previous video stating Oscar works with ResMed Air 10. I have Air 11. Is this compatible? Yes. Woody's Geek Channel says, oh, that has to do with the bleep eclipse. So this won't work if you have a mustache? Huh? No, yeah, it works if you have a mustache. What?
Oh, yeah.
Ah, there's Genesee Jameson. She's the one that got mad at me for saying, it was hell or goddamn? I can't remember which one. Great information. She's back. She forgave me. Again, this is a family religious cat CPAP channel. The timing is impeccable. The Pope says, this guy is speaking the truth. Don't fall for this gimmick. And that's what it is, a gimmick. And we're talking about the Inspire Sleep. R. Lauren, what type of CPAP would you recommend? I personally use the AirSense 10, mostly because I'm geeky and I like to look at it in Oscar. The leak data for ResMed devices is much more precise. You have a faster sampling rate with ResMed. That's why I prefer it. If you're going to be using it on APAP, which my God, please don't use it on APAP. It has, of the algorithms of APAP, they're all terrible. But it's the best, which isn't good. It's like a 2 out of 10. Bergie, hilarious, and Stewie, lol. At Lanky Lefty. Any tips on how to keep the Brevita in place? Headgear keeps slipping up at the back of my head. So the Brevita, it's a nasal pillow, technically mask. It slightly inflates around your nose. The headgear, it comes up and then it splits in 2 parts. So if you have if you've buffed your back of your head to a high glow or you have long hair, it's gonna have a tough time staying. So if you have long hair, it'll actually pull your hair through that opening and then that'll hold it down. If you don't, I've seen people where they, I don't even want to say it, it's so weird. They loop something over it and then they will tie it around their neck. Which, I mean, it can work for sure. Just like a strap around it and then around the front. That way it kind of holds it in place. I feel like I would choke you though. But the Brevita is a great mask. I really like it, and I use it for personal use very, very often. In fact, did I use it last night? I used it last night. I switched from the Amara full face mask to the Avora. God, congratulations. The Amara mask is probably the worst mask. Hold on. Yeah, it's about the worst mask ever made. That thing will turn your face into a hamburger. It's horrible. Belty Cat says, no Stewie? If you want to see videos of Stewie, my cat, I used to put little shorts of him. They're not here anymore. Those are all on Lanky's cat channel, where I do cat videos and videos of just other random stuff. Just really whatever comes to my mind. It's the trash bin of YouTube content. But apparently people like that stuff. James Brusgus is saying, my narcissistic self is screaming for another shout out. Please! James, consider this your shout out. James is a pilot, and does he send any FAA pilots to me for home sleep testing, which a lot of pilots use it for that? No, he doesn't. Why? Because he just wants a shout out. Narcissistic self screaming for attention. James, love you, man. Amber, talking about the gender-specific CPAP machines, the For Her. Doesn't For Her also override your minimum settings? If you have 2 events back-to-back, it'll never go back down again that night. That's what mine was doing. The aerophagia was awful. So she's saying every time you have an event, it increases, but it'll never go back down below that threshold. So if the machine keeps detecting events, which it does erroneously, she's saying it'll keep going up, 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 and never drop back down. So eventually you find yourself up at like 20 or whatever the highest pressure is. You know, I don't know if it does that. I'm not 100% sure. Henry Taylor, can you please qualify what makes the AirSense 10 reservoir better than the AirSense 11 reservoir? I have no experience with it. The way it comes out, oh wait, hold on. As for the gender issue, I have no idea what my CPAP identifies as, but my mask is definitely female. Clingy, inconvenient, and irritating, but life is much better with her than it was without. I can laugh at that because like 85% of this, my viewership is male. So if you're in the 15% female, if you make Oscar work, let me know. It doesn't read the data at all for the iBreeze machine. I don't do anything with that. You need to contact the Oscar development team. Which, let's talk about that real quick. If you want it, that is at sleepfiles.com. When you go there, you're going to see this Oscar download page. You want to download that, select whatever you got, and then when you do finally have it downloaded, you're going to have 2 different folders. One is going to be the Oscar, like this big logo right here. You're going to have that, which will open it, but you need to look at the README file. There's a little README file, and when you come into problems and your computer's like, this is not safe, use that to override it, because it's not like recognized by whatever. So definitely make use of that README file. And when you do, this is my data. I haven't imported for a while, so the last one was several weeks ago. You can look at all your data. You can look at it in glorious detail, move around, look at that. You can check out events. So we did talk about post-arousal central apneas. That is a post-arousal central apnea. So this is what I was talking about before. This is actually, I'm at 11 right here. I kind of know I need to be at 12. This is REM sleep. You can see the flattening on the top of the wave. You can see me waking up. And this is that hyperventilation I was talking about. Then you see the decrease in airflow, post-arousal central apnea. And then we have that overly abundance of breathing, and then my body like says, oh, this is stable right here. It's kind of what we're talking about. This is actually REM sleep, so we're seeing that pattern that we should be seeing. But I definitely look under titrated right there. If you want a PAP therapy analysis with me, check out my website, axgsleepdiagnostics.com. Oh my gosh! Can you do a video on, on arousal-related CA? I just did! I hope you didn't miss it. Although the AHI is around 5, but most of them are central apneas that seems like arousal. So if it comes, yeah, so if it, let's go back to Oscar. Let's go back to Oscar. I was just talking about this. So, yeah, if it comes after an arousal such as this, basically just ignore it. Let's see if this one has anything too. No. So this is another arousal right here. Typically, there's a lot of movement, but you can see this instability right here. That's normal. You're going to see a little instability. Oftentimes, that instability is a central hypopnea or a central apnea. In this case, I did not have that. Embedded automation. Thanks for the great info regarding the For Her algorithm. I enjoy the videos you've made where you're troubleshooting issues using Oscar data. Well, you know what? You should really enjoy this one then, because I'm just doing a ton of it. Thank you for making this content available. Even if your cat videos with Stewie get more views. And that's just the thing. My little cat my cat channel gets way more views on, like, seriously the dumbest crap. It doesn't help anyone. My sleep doctor says during sleep, women breathe more shallow than men, thus a different algorithm. That doesn't make sense at all, because you're still going to have a full breath or one that's basically chopped off from a flow limitation. So the machine is still going to increase the pressure regardless of how shallow you breathe or not. That doesn't really make sense. Now, if you're talking something like lung capacity, even that still doesn't make sense, because overall your system meaning your upper airway, your lungs, require a specific amount of pressure to hold open the obstruction. It doesn't make sense to me. I think your sleep doctor is full of what we call the mumbo jumbo. Jasper Lindenberg, great video. The example you gave about the guy who needed the pressure of 20 in the end, isn't that usual strategy to go to BiPAP after 15 centimeters of water? Or can you just go higher on CPAP as long as you're not having central apneas? Exactly. So there's usually a threshold as you're increasing the pressure where that constant pressure coming in prevents you from getting rid of CO2. If that's the case, and I'm doing this was a PAP therapy analysis, that was or is a strategy I use. So we'll go up on pressure when central apnea start to emerge, treatment emergent central sleep apnea. We'll put EPR on it. Decreases the pressure, allows people to blow off CO2 as you're getting to higher pressures. That's why I call it the poor man's bilevel. Yeah, in reality, you'd want to switch to a bilevel. Bilevel is way more effective. You can have a greater pressure support, and when it does increase to the IPAP segment, EPAP exhale, IPAP inhale, it's faster to get there. So it pops the airway open, holds it open better. So yes, oftentimes, if I were in a lab and you see central apneas, remember this is all real time. You see central apneas, you're increasing, and you go, oh, okay, central hypopneas are emerging. Let's go ahead and make the shift to bilevel now and save some time. Hopefully get them titrated on that night. Great question. Solomon Japan, honestly, I need to get a review done because I think I've gone as far as I can on my own. You know what? You should. Joshua Smith, will Mask Bright be stocked soon? Dude, let's see, Amazon Mask Bright. Let's see. It's like right there. Is it out of stock? No. It's in stock. It's right there. In fact, you can have it tomorrow. It's there. Hey, Jose Valentin Pinedo. Where can I get the program to analyze the data I already showed you? sleepfiles.com/Oscar. David Peterzel, Mr. 2 PhDs himself, says the 3D thumbnail was the epitome of advertising genius, complete with big, fluffy, full, huge gasps of air. However, viewers should note that this is the most serious Lanky Lefty 27 video since 1932. Viewers seeking funny hair, fake mustaches, wigs, humorous asides, cat humor, and 1970s adult-themed music, hilarious APAP-induced central apneas, toxic foam drama, or even the Legoman in a speaking role should consult other videos in this series. How many gender-specific CPAP machines does it take to screw in a light bulb? 0, and that's not funny.
I'll disagree, Johnson. It's extremely funny. In fact, my favorite CPAP machine, it's the one that everyone calls the brick. Get it? It's a Lego brick. Haha. If you want to buy fabulous CPAP supplies, go to cpapsupplies.com. They have tons of great things you can buy there, Johnson. And one of them is a thing on the page with the stuff. But use Lanky or use discount code LEFTY20 and get 20% off your order. It's phenomenal. I just have no money because I'm a Lego man.
That was stupid. Chaz Lawn says, hello, I have a question. Which CPAP brand has the best settings for adjusting humidity? Do you have a general advice for how to adjust humidity with the right level each night? That is very convoluted because I don't like humidification. The reason is, I would turn it to manual. I think the auto setting is too much. If you're taping your mouth, I would shut the humidity off, maybe use 1 or 2, but usually that moistens the back of the tape, causes it to peel off. So go manual, go off, then go 1 or 2 if needed. For a full face mask, you can kind of use whatever you want. But the problem I see is you'll get beating of moisture inside the mask. Eventually it'll form, it gets down the tube, and you have a little lake inside of your tube, and you hear glug glug, gurgle gurgle, and that's not good. So I would keep it really low in general, but yeah, it's up to you. Yeah, you just have to find it yourself. And finally, Kathy Bacon. I have an AS10 for her. I tried APAP in all mode settings, and they were all crap for me. Fixed pressure worked brilliantly in my case. Rumor has it possibly had a PAP therapy analysis with AXG Sleep Diagnostics. Maybe? I mean, I'm not trying to brag, but no, actually that's exactly what I'm doing. All right, guys, that's all I've got for you. If you do want a PAP therapy analysis, axgsleepdiagnostics.com. Those are my answers for all those questions. I'm gonna go ahead and put a little heart next to all of them because I like all comments equally, except for that bearded vegan guy. He kind of seemed like a dick. Thanks for watching. Go ahead and buy some Mask Bright, because even though some people don't think it's there, it's actually there. And have a fantastic weekend. Thanks for watching my first annual recorded live stream.
Thank you to all watching, but an extra thick thanks, buddy, to Doug Toombs, Jason Georgiades, Patricia Espelong, Sarvesh Joshi, Stuart Hetherington, Mona Swearingen, Chengtu Chen, Edward Steiner, and Shannon Kerr, and another slightly less thick thanks, buddy, to all the other YouTube members, Patreon supporters, and other stuff.